What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Stoic Context. Today we are going to react to another Kevin Samuels video. Before we get into it, make sure you guys like and subscribe. I'm going to save my commentary for the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. So that's what.
Can I stay off YouTube?
Excuse me.
I would like to stay off YouTube.
Have you noticed a market difference in the way in which you choose to communicate versus the way the other women have chosen to communicate?
Yes.
What have you noticed?
Well, you made a thorough example of me, didn't you?
Say again.
I said you made a thorough example of me.
No, I didn't do anything.
You reprimanded me.
I'll ask the question again. Have you noticed the difference in the way you've chosen to communicate versus the other women? And you said you have. And I asked you how you did, and you turned it down to be being accountable for it. You've chosen to communicate this way.
And you've chosen to communicate the way you've chosen to communicate.
So
I'm not upset with you for it. I told you I
no,
appreciate
I
your
don't.
tone.
I've told you before, young lady. What you feel about me is fine, but what you see me to miss is these. Except for one woman, other women were black. And my point was, just like you feel sympathy for how those women are combative and them felt such and so forth, it's because that's you.
Of course.
Well, and that's the problem. Just like it was them, you or you, it's a choice. So there's no reason to be sympathetic to someone who chooses to be disagreeable. You let
Well,
them be disagreeable and own everything that comes positive or negative. You're free to be disagreeable. You're free to be argumentative. You're free to exercise as much sign language as you see necessary. And you take the only thing men want from women is to accept accountability and consequences for it all. Don't blame anybody. That's what you have done multiple times. That is what men find unacceptable.
well, I simply don't know what to say, truly. I've thought about how this would go many times. I mean, I've watched your show for quite a while and I've wanted to call in. And I actually tried to book a session with you, but I couldn't afford it. Um, and I tried to reach out to you through email and through Instagram. And I really only called onto your show as a last resort. And what I wanted to tell you was how you changed me personally. Like during the pandemic, I was a real I was a real shut-in, to tell you the truth. I mean, I didn't go out. I the pandemic it caused me to leave school because it was just a lot of chaos and they closed down the campus. So I left school and I moved back in with my parents. And that was the first time I'd been living with my parents uh, since I was like 14 or 15 years old, like full time. And so, my parents are baby boomers and they're very, very traditional, very, very devout. And uh, they've always held us to a certain standard. And it was very difficult at first to live with them and my siblings, who are also in their 20s. And, I became very, very depressed at a point because, I think the pandemic was very depressing for many of us, with especially all the killings that were happening. And I think I, I really had a breakdown. And and anyway, when I started watching your videos, uh, I started going to the gym. And I started for the first time. I don't know if you've watched the show. It's on HBO. It's called Mad Men. But I think that you would be a character on Mad Men. But it's about like these
It's AMC.
hmm?
AMC, Mad Men, the advertising show.
Yes, yes. It's about
Yeah,
like advertisers and like
yeah.
these like
Don Draper,
and
Roger Sterling. Yeah, young lady. Why do
and
you
like
think you were having? Why do you think you were having so much? Why do you think you were in such chaos? Why do you think you were in such conflict when you went home with your traditional parents, who were baby boomers?
because we came up in completely different environments, socially and
Okay.
culturally and
Right.
technologically.
How do you feel like you how do you feel like you're interacting with your current situation, your current culture? I mean, your current generation, your current time frame. Are you thriving? Are you doing average, below average, above average?
I think it's hard for me to it's hard for me to say. I know a lot of people. I'm like a zillennial. I think that's like
Uh-huh.
the term
Uh-huh.
for my generation. I'm a zillennial.
Mhm.
So not a
Is
millennial.
life matching up to your expectations?
I mean, honestly, sir, um, I guess it depends on the way you look at it. Yes, yes, for the most part. I mean, I don't know if you know much about like millennials and zillennials, but
Are you
we don't
kidding?
have a lot of money
Hold
across
on,
the board.
hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. I have a 21-year-old daughter. I mean, I don't think it's kind of crazy to think I don't know when I talk to people every day. But it almost sounds to me as though I'm asking you: is life meaning at 25? Is this what you expected to be at 25?
I think so. Yes, I would say I'm healthier than I've ever been before.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you that because part of it was you. I started to go to the gym, and I actually started this particular kind of like exercise called cross fitness, and I'm the only Black woman at my gym, and
Young
it has
lady,
been an
hold
eye-opening
on. Oh, okay,
experience.
okay, all right. Uh, you got a lot going on, and I would just say this: have you graduated?
No, I'll graduate in spring.
Hmm. Are you still living at home with your parents?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
our
Will you
culture, it's
be? Will you?
traditional for a
Okay, that's
woman
fine.
to live
That's
with their
fine. That's
parents
fine.
until
That's
they're
fine.
married.
When you graduate, are you going to be living at home with your parents until you're married?
Um, I'm not sure yet,
Well,
but I know that that's
you
always
just said in my culture it's tradition for us to live at home until we're
yes,
married. So are you going to
yes,
live
but
at
my
home with your? Are you going to be living at home with your parents until you're married?
I'm not sure.
Why not? You just said in your culture it's traditional to live at home with their parents until you're
Well,
married.
it
Are
is
you going to live at home with
traditional,
your
but we
parents until
don't
you're
live in our
married? Are you going to live at home with your parents until you're married? See, the question I keep asking is you bounce back and forth between the culture when it benefits you and you can shuck it when it doesn't. Which
I'm
is it?
trying to explain it to you, sir, but
Yeah,
you
you
won't let me
explained it to
tell
me
you about
very
my
well. You're a
culture.
modern woman. You're a
No,
modern
no,
woman, a dual minded modern
I've
woman.
never
And
identified.
people don't feel sorry for dual minded women. You cannot play the sympathy card and say, woe is me, and then want to be a modern goddamn woman. You can't say traditional when it benefits you and modern when it benefits you. And the problem is, women like you are living in conflict with reality.
What we saw in this call wasn't just a conversation, it was a mirror showing the real cost of indecision and internal conflict. The young lady came in with good intentions, and you could tell she's been thinking, maybe even growing, but intention doesn't override reality. Kevin pressed on one question over and over: are you living by your values or just using them when it's convenient? And that's something a lot of people need to sit with, wanting structure without submitting to it, wanting freedom without the cost, wanting validation without consistency. That kind of mindset creates chaos. It's not the world that's against you, it's the choices you keep making that don't align with where you say you want to be. The truth is, no one feels sorry for people who live in contradiction. You can't keep pulling from two playbooks and expect clarity. Eventually, the outcomes will show you which side you're really on. Kevin wasn't being harsh. He was just stripping away the confusion. When people hear direct truth, it's uncomfortable because it reveals how many of our struggles are self-imposed. Growth doesn't come from emotional comfort. It comes from clarity. And clarity only comes when you stop shifting your identity based on how it feels in the moment. This conversation should be a lesson for anyone watching. Stop asking the world to make sense around your contradictions. Fix them first. Then watch how fast things begin to align. Let me know what you think. Was she being honest with herself? Or just trying to defend a version of life that no longer serves her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you got value from this breakdown, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more conversations that challenge the way we think, not just about relationships, but about ourselves. Tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. And remember, clarity starts with accountability. I'll see you in the next video.